Hi, welcome to a demo for HASAProviderAssist. My name is Kim Harris. I'm the Marketing and Business Director for HASA. I'm going to do today just a quick demo of the search capability for the patient repository for HASA. You'll get a little bit of an idea of how the information will look and what types of information you can get from HASAProviderAssist. So to start the demo, you can see on the screen that the login page for HASA looks like this. And this is also where you would see any kind of update notifications if there was a system outage or who would be new providers, new senders of data coming on board. Right now we have Baptist Healthcare System contributing data to the HASAProviderAssist, but very soon we'll have Methodist Healthcare as well as Christus Santa Rosa Hospital System. So very soon you'll be able to log in and see patients' records and information across the region where they seek treatment from each of those organizations. So to get started, you see here I've typed in my username as Kim Clinical. This is the role that has been set up for this demo with Kim Clinical is I am an emergency room physician. And by being in that role, we assume that we do not have relationships with the patients who walk in the door of the emergency room. So we are not required to break glass. So as we roll out this process with different physicians in the community, your role will determine your level of access. So you may only have access to your own patients. Let's say you're a private practice doctor, you may have access only to your own patients until you what we call break glass, which gives you the authorization to see the wider community related to one particular patient. But each and every time you break glass, you have to give a reason and a length of time for the break glass. So this is a highly audited and controlled way of searching for patient information. So that's why we do it that way. But as I mentioned, this demo for today will be showing you from an ER doctor position or perspective. So I log in with my passcode, and then I will click on HASAProviderAssist. It takes me into the default search screen. You can search for patient information either in this box or in this box. It doesn't really matter. You can search by MRN number, Social Security number, date of birth, or name. For the purposes of our demo today, I'm going to search for patient HASA B. So it'll bring back all of the patients that share the last name HASA B. For today's demo, I'm going to select patient ER1 because I know that has a lot of information. And it's important to keep in mind that this is a certification environment, so the demo, the information on our demo patient, it's maybe not as all-inclusive as you might see in the actual system, because these are all sent by North Central Baptist to do testing on certain HL7 messages. So keep that in mind as you're watching this. So I'm going to click into this. Now, again, that is, if I were not an ER physician, I would have needed to probably break glass to see that patient, unless, of course, that I was a doctor of record. But being that I am ER physician, I did not need to break glass. So this will take me straight into the Encounter tab for patient HASA B, or let's see, patient ER1 HASA B. And you can see up here at the top, it gives you a little bit of information, their MRN number, the facility that the encounter occurred at. The patient is 30-year-old female. And if you hover over this little icon here, you get to see quite a bit of information about the patient at a quick glance. Number one, you see their date of birth, the last 4 digits of social, their address, their marital status, ethnicity. You can see insurance information. You can also see, I think most importantly, nurses want at a very quick pace to see what allergies that the patient has. So again, you can see that by hovering there. The Encounters tab, so much of the information that's reported on each of these tabs is similar. It's done, you can see the same information on different tabs, but the reason that we have all the different tabs is because we want you to be able to find the information you're looking for from the tab that will get it to you the quickest, depending on what you're looking for. So Encounters tab, for instance, if you know that a patient reports to you, I was seen at North Central Baptist on January 14th, and you know you want to see the whole encounter. You could go to the Encounter tab and find that exact encounter. You can click into any lab, pathology, or radiology report that were done during this encounter. So you see here, there was a lab, a pathology, or several it looks like, and then radiology. Now it's important to notice that if you see lab, pathology, or rad, that means that the tab is there, or the heading is there because there is information there. If, for instance, you did not see the word lab there, that would mean that no labs were conducted during this encounter. So this will save you some time. You won't be drilling into a link to find there's no information there. It's also important to note right here that across the tabs, the search tabs, you can typically filter depending on what you're looking for. So we could do all or just outpatient. This is the types of information you want to see. I want to see it all for right now. A date range. For right now, we can say the last 3 months, but you may be just looking for information in the last 30 days or the last 14 days, whatever, to narrow down the information. And then you can also do by provider. So if you know you're searching for particular information from a particular provider. So this gives you, like I said, you can see the encounter and a summary information. And for example, I'm going to show you in the test tab in a second the same information, but this is listed sort of by encounter. So let's say you know that a patient had this encounter, but you only really care about a lab value that was run on that encounter. You could go straight to the test tab and search out only CBC or only pathology or any of those that are listed. So again, it's important to note you can search and narrow by range here, or you can and the headings here are only the ones that exist. You don't have to waste time drilling in. So let's say you particularly just want to know CBC. The other important information is that across the HASA system, regardless of data senders or sources, all of your CBC tests will be normalized so if you have one facility called CBC1, one facility calls it a CBC2, or whatever the case may be, it will all fall underneath and be normalized to the CBC heading. So no matter what the lab calls it, the reports will all be joined together. So you can see that we do have marks for abnormal, and they all have the reference numbers for that particular lab listed here and what is considered out of range. So the next one I would think is important is the patient info tab. It's important to note, we mentioned earlier about the roles that an ED provider would have versus a private practice provider. So it's also important to know that for, say, administrative personnel or admissions department or whoever that you might want to also have access to this, but those staff don't have access to patient information, we can give them a role that narrows it down to just patient info tab, which has mostly just demographic information, primary insurance, it'll have ethnicity, marriage status, and you can see the other information here. So the next sheet would be face sheet. This would be, I think, a tab that nurses will enjoy. It has kind of a summary, as well as it'll have a listing of each encounter up here at the top and what the MRN number. This patient only has one encounter at North Central Baptist, but if there were more than one, it would be listed here in descending order. So you can see that all of the information that's included, you can have a problem list, you have allergies, care team, procedures, and on. So, and again, just because these are blank, this is in the cert environment, so it's test data. They won't all have information, but you can see problem list is there. The next tab, and I believe this patient does not have any reports in this tab, but this is where transcribed reports would go, discharge summaries, anything, any type of report that would be sent across would be shown here. Again, we have a meds tab where meds will be shown. This patient does not have any meds in their file. And then the last thing I'd like to show you is the Documents tab. This is where CCD documents can be created and stored. So for this patient, you see there have been 2 continuity of care documents created based on the information that is contained in the HASA system. If you want to just look at one of those quickly, just click on that and it will show up. Summarization of episode note. So you can see who created it, or when it was created and who created it, and just a summary of what they thought was important during that time. Okay, so if you want to, I'm going to go ahead and close that up. If you want to create a new CCD for the purposes of transitioning to another location, or just really any need that you would have for medical treatment, you can do that here. You can sort of narrow it down. You can include just certain information. You could say, I just want results. I don't want all the rest of this. Take it all off and have just that. Or you could go over here and click the All button. Everything is sent. You can narrow down the range, date range for these types of services. You can show certain, problems lists. You want to take that off, vital signs. Or you can also narrow it down to, like, I just want to send labs. You can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do all, and I'm going to scroll up to the top and hit preview. Once I've selected how I want it to look, I just hit preview. You'll be able to see what it's going to look like. So here is just the patient information that we wanted to send across. So you have the ability to publish it. Publish it will make it available on, it becomes a permanent part of this patient's record. It's important to remember, if you are an ED physician or you have VIP status clearance and you create a CCD document with your clearance and you publish it to the HASA record, that information then becomes part of the record regardless of your viewing role or status. So you want to be very cautious what you publish if you have rights that are higher than what other people would have. But you also can save or unsave and publish. So if you wanted to save it to a PDF, you want to print it, you want to do it that way, then you could do it this way. Another important note is you want to make sure that as you're saving it, you save it, because this would be like saving it to your workstation. So if you do select that option, you want to make sure you have a secure file folder with password protection or some sort of security options where it can be swept regularly to remove that information. Just want to be very cognizant of who has rights and responsibilities for creating CCD documents. So instead of saving, I'm going to go ahead and cancel. So that basically gives you a general idea of the clinical uses for Provider Assist. There are other administrative functions, which I'm not going to go into for this demo. But it is important to keep in mind I've created a PowerPoint slide I just want to quickly review. So when you're talking to your staff, you want to remember that using the HASA system is very similar to the responsibility that your nursing staff, your clinical staff has with their own EMR system. You want to make sure that you're going over the proper uses and the HIPAA guidelines for sharing and accessing patient information. All of the regular rules and common sense apply. You don't want to search yourself. You don't want to search family members. You can only search people that you have a direct treatment responsibility to, that that you're seeing right at that moment. You want to also make sure that you're logging out. If you're working in a busy practice where people are using the same workstations, you want to log out each time so that people don't log in with your access code. You should not use it when you're not on duty, things like that. So just make sure that you understand and that you share with your staff the responsibilities that come with this. HASA does have regular auditing capabilities to make sure that the system is being used correctly and within the guidelines of HIPAA. So just to be aware of that. We don't want to make people nervous about it, but if you're using it just as if you would use your regular system, that's within the guidelines. So if you have any questions or concerns and you would like to get more information about Provider Assist, you can always contact us at www.hasatx.org for more information. I'm going to quickly go back into the Provider Assist and show one last use case, especially for an ED physician. And I'm going to search for a different patient called Kimberly Testing. And the reason I want to show this is because for ED physicians, I know a concern has been patients who are frequently admitted or readmitted within 30 days. So HASA has built in a flag that will notify you when you're searching. For example, this patient comes into your clinic, it will give you this red flag up here. If you hover over it, it will tell you readmitted within 30 days of previous discharge. So this could be helpful information, particularly identifying frequent flyers or patients who are at risk for readmission or, that may need some special attention to manage their disease state that, is not being handled well. So they're presenting to the ER for treatment over and over. So that is the last use case for that. I'm going to log out to follow my own HIPAA rules, and I appreciate you tuning in for the demo for the Provider Assist. If you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to contact us at info@hasatx.org. Thank you.